Hey gang, Poppy here. You see my finger? Okay, here you see those two pieces of Ethiopian I worked on in my last video. Come on. Okay, you see this one here. You see this one here. The color's coming back pretty good. It disappeared, went Vaseline, then it went wet cotton ball. Now it's basically come back. But you can see here the whole side of the mountain is slid off into the ocean. There was a little itty bitty speck right where you can see that tiny little dark spot. That's down in. I said, well, I'll let this dry, and when I can see better, I'll go and get that out. Well, guess what? It popped this side off, and the crack running down this side. I might be able to slice the stone thickness wise. Might be able to slice it thickness wise, right? But it's disappointing. Here's another piece of Ethiopian. It hasn't cracked on me. Well, unfortunately, it didn't have the color of this one, the one that cracked. Now we have this. You see that sand spot in the middle of this? Just see that sand spot. That goes all the way through. This here, yeah, that there is a piece of Australian. It's the first piece of opal I bought online. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, that piece of Australian, you can't see it. I can just barely see it with my optivisors and good lighting on. There's some wants to be flagstone. It's so thin and it's so pale. And the sand going right down through it. Waste of money. Like I said in the video last time I talked about it. Waste of money. But then I can say, well, I was just trying to figure out, a way to find out who I can trust to order from online. Well, it looked exactly like the damn picture in the ad. And it weighed what he said it weighed. And definitely Australian. But I might consider buying from this guy again if he's got bigger pieces and nicer prices. I'm waiting for my 62 carat Australian to show up. It's supposed to be here by July 17th or 19th. I hate waiting for stuff to come in the mail or UPS or FedEx. Oh, I especially hate FedEx. They destroy packages. Dropped my wife's Christmas present, taking it off the truck. Still brought it to the door, and it dropped again. Ever seen a big screen TV that does a broad flash opal for one quarter? Yeah. And the guy came back. He told me he dropped it, taking it off the truck. And I said, and you brought it to the door? People could hear on the YouTube video because I was recording when he showed up to take it back. Anyway, I always bought my stones in person. I was spoiled. When I was a kid, I could go to Concord Lapidary, sit down on the stool, and go through the tray looking at the rough. Yeah, I cut a lot of good stones out of the $2 a gram tray at Concord Lapidary. I'm 68 years old now. That's 50 years plus ago. Yeah. So, I don't know what to tell you. Later on, I was always able to get opal in person. When I moved up here to Clear Lake, there was a guy running a rock shop named George Peterson. George Peterson's Broken Arrow Rock Shop. George was into agates and jaspers and cheap settings. He'd slab it, take a pair of uh, plumber's slip joint pliers and crumble around the edges till he got a closer shot. Then he'd silicon carbide belts on a flexi rubber, and I forget what oxide he was using to polish his finished polish. Anyway, I kept on bugging him, hey, when are you going to get me some opal? When are you going to get me some opal? One day I come in and I said, hey, you still want opal? Yeah. Boom! 2 jars. One's a quart mayonnaise and one's like a pint and a half something. And they're basically full, there's a little water. And he said, $20. And I said, what's that? Carat, gram, ounce? He said, no, for both. Couldn't get the money out of my pocket quick enough. Now, some of you out there are saying, they were in water, they were in jars. Yeah. Yes, they were. I was used to looking at opal wet in jars. And drying it for when I wanted to see the cracks. You never want to see the cracks before you buy. You never buy anything. Tell me I'm wrong. Any of you out there, Justin, Opal Odyssey's host, I'm not sure I know your name yet. Phil at Opal Mills, Pulitzer. Any of you guys tell me that the cracks don't break your heart. And sometimes you'd rather not see them till you get it home. Because if you saw it before you paid, you'd never buy anything. Because everything's got cracks. And think about it, everything came out of a crack. Seam, cracks in the mud. Boulder matrix, boulder cracks, opal fills. Seashells and opalized trees, fancy crack. So, Ethiopian. People complain that it cracks. Australian cracks too. That's just the name of the game. It happens. Uh, I may be able to salvage a stone out of that. I'll try. Anyway, this piece of Australian, I'm not going to try and rub the back. See, nanometer thick, pale, uninspiring, sand right in the middle. Yeah. I got a 62 carat piece of Australian coming, I told you. And I'm damn sure going to cut a good stone out of it. Or something going to be wrong. Anyway, I'll show that to you when it arrives and even tell you who I got it from. Show you his business card or read you his name off the return address. Hey, I'll show you straight up. This is what I got from Joe Blow. I could have got gravel like this off the road here in Clear Lake. Yeah, well, that kind of stuff. Since no one's giving me and no one's paying me, I'm spending my own money, I will speak my mind. I'm looking for a good supplier who's got decent size rough. I've got 2 more parcels of Ethiopian in the shop I got to cut my way out of if I can. I got 100 carats supposed to be coming. But otherwise, my diamond blade bandsaw with the water drip, excellent. Works better than I even expected. Dremel rubbing. This is a big thing, and I'm working, between the hillocks of color, taking away the jelly. But other than that, I'm not too happy with Dremel carving. And let's face it, I come from an old school where you had a carved opal. There's a big piece of opal with a lady's face, and she's wearing this wat-ho hat and a great big ostrich feather. I saw one of them. A friend of mine bought it. She had to buy it. She was looking at it at a shop and dropped it. I put the 5 pieces back together and rubber molded it and cast them up in gold. She gave one to each of her daughters, and they did not appreciate it. Philistines. Anyway, next video, I'm back out in the shop, and I'll be cutting something. Good night from California.